Hey everybody, this is Jason Stallings. Today I want to talk about a painting I did in 2008 called Risk plus Chaos equals Opportunity. I want to talk about somewhat of the story behind how this painting came to be, what happened with it, and kind of a funny story about the second half later on when I was at a show. But we'll get to that later. So the genesis of this painting, it's about a 96 inch by 120 inch uneven diptych, which is a really unusual approach that really did pay off creatively and eventually, I guess. But yeah, I created this. This is the first and only time I've ever done a painting, especially this large, on speculation. And I did end up selling the painting, but and the larger portion got sold to one client, and the other section got sold to another. Most of the time I like to keep the stories narratives tied together, but in this case I think it's okay to kind of part ways with them separately. But one section of this painting deals with justice. It's a lot of hidden lettering and iconography from different languages and cultures that refer to law, justice, or things like that. The Lady Justice is hidden in the painting, and it's sort of aesthetically takes some influence from the Metallica album Injustice for All. I mean, the colors, except for yellow, I mean, there's a lot of like grays, and kind of it looks like an ancient, motif from like a Greek. Well, minus the color being lost, obviously, because in ancient times, Greco painting and Roman painting was actually very colorful, but the centuries have taken their toll on that. So I guess in a way there's a little bit of faux antiquing going on there that was not intentional. I guess a little background, I've done some antiquing work for my father over the years with furniture, gilding, interiors, finishing as well, so maybe subconsciously there's a little bit of influence there. But I showed this piece in the Stephanie Ann Boutique in my first solo exhibition in 2009, and I think I ended up meeting the client who purchased a larger portion one time. Seemed like a really nice person. But the law firm that I created it for initially didn't purchase it, and I think the lesson from that was that you don't always want to create a piece of art that is literally tied to the work that somebody does, especially and this kind of came into play more recently in 2020 when I did a commission for another law firm, where I kind of discussed that whole idea up front, that I wanted to tie that commission to their story, but I didn't want to be too general or too literal. and I think in that case that client agreed, so we kind of agreed on imagery that was more personal and told their story a little more literally, or at least to not be just vague and about law, but about them and what they did as a firm. So yeah, there's a hammer, gavel, and the second section of the painting is chaos. And when you combine the two, it's risk plus chaos. So risk being law, chaos being laws looking to balance out, and i.e. equals opportunity. So later on, I had a group exhibition where I had the second section of the painting in the show, and I left the room for a minute and walked in, and some random person was kind of lampooning the piece a little bit and didn't know I was in the room, but didn't know me. So, after hearing them kind of make fun of how pretentious, admittedly so, the idea kind of is, I said, kind of politely introduce myself. Really embarrassed. Hey, you can't, make fun of somebody who's working in front of them without at least being called out. But I didn't really take that much offense to it. This was a really strong piece. Though at the time mostly I was still kind of very much focusing on a few narrative elements and kind of having more pattern, repetition, simple circles, lines to kind of guide the composition a bit. And this ended up being a really cool painting, and I have no idea the profession of the people who bought it, at least the larger half. And I think that on some level it just kind of appealed to them. Most of the time there's at least some kind of personal connection between me and the buyer before the painting gets sold, which is something I've found helps a lot of, bring me a lot of success. If you're able to empathize, personalize your interaction with the people you're looking to work with and sell your art to, it's a really valuable skill to cultivate. And I mean, like, build a genuine connection. So, in the future, I typically don't really do paintings and speculation. If there's a commission, there's usually like a 50% deposit that comes into play before the materials are bought or the painting is started. But in this painting, in this instance, I think there was just a potential opportunity. I jumped on it. It didn't work out initially, but ended up kind of selling it elsewhere. But really great painting. I'm happy to talk to you all about it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Talk to you soon. Bye.